crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Bix Weir, Roota.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. Don't forget, take your vitamin C, your vitamin D. Go outside. It's better vitamin D. But if you don't have the sunshine, get your vitamin D. These are 10,000 IUs, D3, zinc, everything you can so that you can go outside. It's either go outside and live or stay inside and die. Let's go outside, my friends. All right, let's talk about silver and silver manipulation. Yes, of course, the computer models are still running. The computer price suppression is still happening. I have posted on the private road, I think, let's check. I have posted a new video of myself and Jenny Moonstone talking about silver and how silver and humanity must evolve together. They can't go separate. So and we're talking about the ground roots, everyday slodge of the silver investors here and the spiritual battle for silver going on up there. It's a good one. So on the private road, this is posted under the Jenny Moonstone heading. Also, yesterday I did Good Guys versus Bad Guys, a word I can't say, and we discussed what is going on right now on that front. So go to the private road now more than ever. You want to know what's happening with silver on the spiritual side. We talk about when and really interesting stuff, as usual, with Miss Moonstone. And I'm showing off my purba, my silver purba. It is it's a Buddhist ritual dagger for taking the silver cabal and taking them down. We talk about that, what it means. You guys got to check that one out. It's a good one. And I have one more Jenny Moonstone discussion that I'm going to post later today. All right, people sent me this article from Forbes. Silver shines, says Citibank. Uh-oh. Instantly, my little, the hair raises on my arms, and I'm like, okay, what are you up to now, Citibank? Silver shines, says Citi, tipping 60% price rise for starters. Silver has been a graveyard for investors since the Hunt brothers tried to corner the market for poor man's gold 40 years ago. Really? Silver's been a graveyard. It's gone from $4 to $50 and back down. If that's a graveyard, I don't know what you're talking about, Tim Treadgold. You ever notice like people who are involved in metals are often named after the metal, like Goldstein, things like that? Anyway, Goldman Sachs. Citi, which has well-connected a well-connected resource research team. Citi, really? Citibank. Oh my, this is just, Tim, you gotta wake the up, dude. Has put his neck on the silver block in an advisory note with a tip that the price of the metal will rise to $40 an ounce over the next 12 months. Oh, gee whiz. What about the next 12 days, Tim? Silver is currently trading around $24.80 an ounce on the London bullion market. Now, it's not a market. It's an association, Tim. You got to get your wording right because it's very important. No, you can't, as a Joe Schmo, you can't walk in off the street and go trade that. That's not allowed. Having already risen by 38% from $18 since the start of the year. Don't forget the $14 dip. JP Morgan dragged the price down to $14 at the end of the first quarter to paint the tape, shall we say, for the first quarter. Citi's case for silver is based on growing demand from investors who see silver as a cheap entry point into the world of precious metals. That's just the dumbest thing ever. People who say, oh, no one's going to buy gold because it's priced, they don't have enough money. You don't have to buy a full ounce of gold. You can buy a tenth of an ounce of gold. You don't have to buy an ounce of silver. You can buy 1,000,000 ounces of silver. It's divisible. Don't forget. I know it's all perception, but truthfully, with perception, how many people have big money and invest because of just the perception. No, they dig in deeper. Why is silver undervalued? Because it's been rigged for 150 years, my friend Tim. That's all he had to say. Pretty much. Investors' memories go back to 1980. We'll be wary of such optimistic forecasts because of the mess made of the silver market by 3 Texas oilmen, Nelson Bunker Hunt, Lamar Hunt, and William Herbert Hunt, who concocted a scheme to corner the silver market, which they almost did. All right, Tim. That was 100 million ounces of physical silver. J.P. Morgan has amassed over 1 billion ounces at the time the time he's talking back in the beginning of the year. Yeah, it rose. The price rose when J.P. Morgan was selling off 300 million of those billion ounces. Explain that one, Tim. Unfortunately for the Hunt family and its bankers, the scheme unraveled spectacularly when commodity exchanges, quote, tightened their rules on the use of debt to fund trades, causing the silver price to fall by 50% in 4 days. Can you imagine the people who bought it? It's just ridiculous, the rigging that goes on. Anyway, let's just move on. Let's talk about this. Now, this is Citibank. He's saying Citibank's making the call. The hair stands up on the back of my neck, and I say, okay, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to get people in for a slam? Are they trying to get people in to say, see, I told you so? Did they change their derivative book to go along? Well, let's look at their derivative book. How big is the Citibank derivative book in silver? Now, this is not all silver. This is precious metals. This is from the OCC, the Office of Comptroller of Currencies, that reports banks, just the banks' derivative positions. They're not going to tell you what BlackRock, for example, probably the big short right now, what their derivative position is because it's private. They're not going to tell you that. That's deep state stuff. But we do know JP Morgan's position and Citibank's position. Of all the commercial banks within the United States, there's a total of $49 billion in derivatives covering silver, everything but gold and precious metals. The majority of this is silver, I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Can I back that up? No, I cannot. Can I back up that silver is the most suppressed metal out of all the other metals? Absolutely, 100% every day. There you go. And I have every day for the last 20 years, by the way. All right, but let's just take it at face value. Citibank, which is coming out with this gigantic bullish call, has $7.5 billion, with a B, billion dollars worth of derivatives, mostly silver. How many ounces does $7.5 billion cover? Now remember, this report came out March 31st, so that was the end of the first quarter when JP Morgan drove the price down from $20 down to $14 because they had to paint the tape. Completely illegal, completely condoned by the CFTC and the federal government. That's when federal government came in and said, okay, we're going to give you till the end of the year to get rid of your silver position. And they did, amazingly. Silver short position. Now let's take a look. 7.5 billion equals 535 million ounces of silver at that time. At that time, Citibank, a bank that is guaranteed by the federal government, a bank that is FDIC insured, is playing with 535 million ounces of physical silver derivatives. Not physical silver, of silver derivatives. Why? Let's not even talk about JP Morgan that had 29.3 billion, which represents 21 billion ounces of silver derivatives. Long, short, whatever. Nothing over 5 years. Have you noticed that? Look at that. Nothing over 5 years. All of it, the vast majority within 1 year maturity. That's that high frequency trading bullshit. Citibank's in on it, JP Morgan, obviously Virtu Financial now. BlackRock. I don't know who else. HSBC probably. I think Deutsche Bank has been bailed out and because you don't hear anything about them anymore. The word is they were bailed out. Backdoor bailout. Unlimited losses were covered. But we'll find out, right? So, as we know, JP Morgan got, quote, fined by the Department of Justice, not necessarily the CFTC, because they couldn't figure it out, for rigging the silver market and gold for the past 10 years. We know that, correct? $920 billion, the biggest fine for a precious metal manipulation ever. But here's the deal. If JP Morgan's such the bad guy that the DOJ claims they are, colluding, RICO charges, all that stuff, why? Why are they still allowed to be in the silver market at all? Gee, let's figure this out. They still have $21 billion worth of derivatives they're playing with. Nothing has changed. They still are the big kahuna. How do we know? Let's look at the silver warehouse data from the COMEX as of today. Here it is. The total amount is 379 million ounces. Oh, by the way, even Citibank has 533 million ounces of derivatives. But this is the real thing, supposedly. So says JP Morgan and the COMEX warehouses. I wonder how many of these bars are fake. I'll guarantee you all of them have been leased out and swapped out and put into derivative contracts. But how many are actually fake bars with molybdenum inside them? The 1,000-ounce bars with molybdenum. I would venture to guess a hell of a lot of them. Let's not go there. Let's talk about JP Morgan Chase right here, the warehouse. They have, of all the 379, now we don't want too much. We don't want to show that JP Morgan is rigging the physical market too. So let's take a look at what it is. 189 million ounces of physical held by JP Morgan and 379 million total. That gives us a 49.9% of all COMEX warehouse silver is held by JP Morgan. We don't want to make it 50 because that would look bad. Shh. Over 50% of all the metal would look bad. Not like $920 million fine for rigging the silver market doesn't look bad, but we don't want over 50%. So we're going to keep it at 49.9. It's probably 49.9999999. It is ridiculous, and it is stupid, and it is the way our monetary system works. That's not all they control. Remember, this is the RICO company. The company that got busted on RICO charges. Meaning racketeering, colluding, conspiracy, that lovely word. Not only that, do they control 189, they control this. 561 million ounces of physical silver. Remember, the Hunt brothers got busted for 100 million ounces of physical. JP Morgan is playing with vast majority of all the silver. Yes, they are. This is the iShares Silver Trust, SLV it's known as. It is an ETF that claims to hold physical silver for people in the stock market who want to buy silver but are too lazy to walk down to their silver store. So they buy SLV. Supposedly every share of SLV they buy, JP Morgan puts it in their inventory. 561 million. Now why are they allowed to be the custodian of the silver? Where's the fiduciary responsibility of BlackRock, the owner of SLV? They hire the number one silver rigger who was busted, $920 million fine, six traders up on RICO charges. And who does BlackRock decide should hold the inventory, the physical silver inventory for all the investors in SLV? The number one criminal in silver, JP Morgan Chase. What's wrong with this picture, my friends? That's the criminality. It continues, and that's why we see this. Our regulators are spineless and corrupt for the most part. Steve Mnuchin, the head of computer market rigging at Goldman Sachs, went to Hollywood to do whatever perverse things he did there, and then came back to run our Treasury Department. You don't think he's in the basement of the Treasury? By the way, the U.S. Treasury building basement has a computer trading floor, if you didn't know, in contact with the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and that's where the Exchange Stabilization Fund controls our markets from. There's no such thing as a free market in America. There's no such thing as a free America anymore. So Jenny Moonstone is 100% correct. The fate of humanity lies in the fate of the silver market. Silver is the bank destroyer. We will see. Take your silver purbas out and go, break us free. We need freedom on a spiritual level, and we need freedom on the ground level, and silver is the key. All right, moving on. moving on. One of my favorite, people are saying, Bix, why do you talk about silver so much? Or why do you talk about theta so much? The reason I talk about them, they're the most undervalued assets. They are the most undervalued assets of all the good assets out there. There's a lot of good assets. Gold is a great asset. Bitcoin's a great asset. Litecoin's even better than Bitcoin. But of all the undervalued assets, these two, of all the good ones, I believe are the best. Silver because of 150 years of price suppression. Theta because of 150 years in the future. Theta is the future of the internet. Remember that thing called the internet? Remember the World Wide Web in 1990 when it came out? And everybody's like, who cares? Who wants to send mail through the telephone wires? Boy, the lack of foresight. Theta is taking the biggest problem on the internet, which is capacity. Broadband capacity. There's no more capacity. They were running out of capacity and nobody had a solution. It was all centralized through CDNs, content delivery networks. These guys at Theta came around and said, oh my God, we got an idea and it might change the world. How about a decentralized internet where everybody shares their bandwidth and an incentive program to do that, which is Theta and Theta Fuel. So that's why jumping up and down these days, especially about silver, 150 years of market manipulation about to be destroyed, and Theta, 150 years in the future of future appreciation of that amazing invention. Oh, by the way, smart contracts are coming out this quarter, which means in 2.5 months? A little over 2 months. Sometimes between now and then. And, did I tell you they're coming onto the COMEX and everybody in America is going to have an opportunity to buy Theta. And right now, you can get it for the low price of 65 cents. Yes, a couple months ago, you could get it for the low price of 5 cents. Pretty soon it's going to be, you can get it for the low price of $5. And then you can get it for the low price of $100. Remember how Bitcoin worked that way? Remember when Roota was giving away 0.1 Bitcoin when it was $200? Anybody who subscribed to Roota back then, they're doing all right with 0.1 Bitcoin. It's $1,300 right now. I don't know what Bitcoin is. And no, let's not forget about Litecoin. Of the cryptos, those are my two favorites. Theta and Litecoin. Litecoin, the announcement from PayPal that they're going to accept Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Out of all those three, which is the most likely for people to absolutely use as a means of exchange? It's Litecoin. It's Litecoin. Let me tell you, it is Litecoin. I don't even know why Ethereum is in there. That's a platform. It's not a cryptocurrency. Why? I don't know why. Truthfully, I don't. Maybe it'll be integrated as money. It was never built to be money. PayPal should know that. But it's interesting. Definitely Bitcoin and Litecoin. And remember, between the two, which is the most adoptable, which is the fastest, which is the most usable, which has never gone down? Litecoin. Litecoin is the right coin. And let's just think about how the Lightning Network will work with PayPal. Everybody's like, oh no, Litecoin's not fast enough either, and Bitcoin's clearly not fast. I did a Bitcoin transaction the other day. It took 9 hours. 9 hours. And it cost a lot of, and I'm like, why would anybody use Bitcoin? But with the Lightning Network and a hub built at PayPal, that's ultra speed. And Litecoin is much more adaptable. Atomic swaps coming in, all the stuff we talked about for the last few years. So absolutely, you need some Litecoin in your portfolio. I don't understand why Ethereum is part of PayPal, unless they're going to use the smart contract functionality of Ethereum to do other things, which is probable. Probably do that. But then again, Ethereum is way too expensive and too slow to hold a platform like that. Oh, did I tell you Theta has smart contracts coming out? You know what it costs to do a transaction on Theta? 0.00001 cent. And it's ultra fast. Because it's a different kind of blockchain. It's a different kind of They use Byzantine fault tolerance and all that stuff that Hedra Hashgraph has been talking about, but it can never deliver. Theta's delivering on it. Absolutely 100% get your Theta. And where can you get Theta? At roadtoruta.com. You can't buy it. Obviously, I don't sell it. I'm not allowed to sell it. But I can teach you how to buy it. On the private road, we have a Theta page. Right here, you go down here. There's the Jenny Moonstone page. You'll get your amazing readings. And the Theta page, which teaches you how to buy Theta, how to store Theta, and, oh, by the way, how to stake Theta to make Theta fuel. And I haven't had one Road to Ruta customer. And in Road to Ruta, we're old school. A lot of us are old school. We're gold and silver investors from 20 years ago. A lot of people are not crypto savvy. I have not had one customer say, I joined the private road, I read your instructions, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get myself any Theta. Not one. That's amazing, if you ask me. So, I'm sure there will be some. And I don't want to walk people through it. I want people to learn. That's why this whole page is about learning how to open up wallets, how to create a Trezor wallet, how to store your cryptos, how to stake your cryptos. But I still have not had one. They will come. They will come. I mean, some people just refuse to do it. But yeah, that's where we are on the road to Roota. Oh, by the way, did you see the debate last night? I'm not going to get into it because they'll ban my channel. But listen, one of the classic Joe's like, oh, it's all about integrity. All right, Joe. This is, and Trump promised he would post. He would post when Joe Biden said he's not going to ban fracking. Trump's like, what are you talking about? You say it all the time. Joe's like, yeah. Trump says, I got video of you do it. And Joe goes, no, you don't. Prove it. And Trump says, okay, after the debate, I'll prove it. Check this out.
I have never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
What about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
all about integrity, Joe. Keep going, Joe.
No new fracking. You got to transition away from it. Look, you're going to ban fracking all across America right now, right?
I would love to.
Yeah, I'd love to too. I'd love to make sure we can't use any oil or gas, period. Look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel. We are going to get rid of fossil fuels.
Hello, Joe. I guess his eye monitor, he wears these contacts that the people behind can tell him what to say while he's in these debates. I guess it wasn't working well enough. Oh, Joe. Jenny and I talk about what the election, what's on those hard drives, by the way, and the takedown of the P's, the pedo. Yeah, those. You know what I'm talking about. Jenny and I talk about that in our discussion. This is it, baby. We are at the end of the game. Silver's going to blow sky high. A lot of people going to jail. A lot of people you see in Congress will be no longer walking around free people. This is the end game. So we either win or we lose. If we win, Silver and humanity win. If we lose, we are all completely effed. And you just got to fend for yourself, and it's the end of America, the end of our nation, the end of everything, end of our monetary system, and the control. Basically, the guy Dick Allgaier talks about wins. By the way, I have a discussion with Dick Allgaier and my friend JC on JC's channel, Beyond Mystic, today, Friday the 23rd, I think, at 12 noon on Beyond Mystic, at Beyond Mystic. I think that's it. JC's channel at Beyond Mystic, 12 noon live chat. We're going to talk about remote viewing and the good guys and bad guys and the interpretation. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait. I love those guys. And like everybody I love, we have disagreements. We find out all kinds of things. That's part of life. Anybody who agrees with everybody doesn't think for themselves, right? Right? All right. And then finally, my friend Bitcoin Ben has a new channel up. Actually, his old channel, his secondary YouTube channel, that YouTube is not being very kind to him. You know why? How you know? I did a search for Bitcoin Ben, right? Here's what it looks like. It says Bitcoin Ben with the logo here. That's the Life app logo. So this is his old Life app channel. But he says he's going to start posting here, his live chats. He did one yesterday. If you look up Bitcoin Ben on YouTube, they have basically banned the search. Watch. These are not Bitcoin Ben's channel. I even put it in quotes. Those are other people's channel. Other people's channel. None of his. You got to go all the way down and down and down to here to find it right here. That's what the logo looks like. Bitcoin Ben's new channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of Ben's discussions. And it sucks that it sucks, and it also shows the power of YouTube. By the way, my friend Sean at SGT Report just got kicked off of Patreon. So all the people who think, oh, Bix, you should just do Patreon. If they can kick you off, they will kick you off. And I know there's 100 other places, but the problem is you get no traction. I mean, viewers and subscribers don't appear overnight. It has taken all of us years and years and years to build this following. And the moment that Ben got cut off of YouTube, boom, everybody's like, oh, I miss Ben. Because they're creatures of routine. They can't do anything different. Go find Ben's channel, even though they're blocking the search, and subscribe. And definitely subscribe to his Patreon. Because he's still on Patreon, I believe. Sean is now kicked off Patreon, and they kicked off Monkey Chimp, his email service, where he sends out emails. They kicked him off that. How much power do these bastards have? A hell of a lot. But that's the fight we're in. So grab your silver purba, and let's get in the fight. This is Bix Weir. Go to roota.com, hit subscribe today, and I will send you 25 Theta fuel in a paper wallet, mailed to your front door. This will change. The 25 will change. And I said it when I was giving away 100. It will change. As the price of Theta goes up, the amount of Theta we give out goes down. It's still a great deal because the price is going to be in the thousands. Theoretically, I'm giving away $25,000 plus if Michelle Whitedove is correct. And I can give you 100 ways till Sunday how and why Theta will be in the thousands. How much is the internet worth? I rest my case. This is Bix Weir. Roota.com. I'll talk to you later.